Hey there, it's Matt with the Handyman. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of artificial intelligence and how it can revolutionize the way we estimate jobs as handymen. AI can analyze data much faster than we can, as well as take into account regional differences in price. So that's perfect for estimating jobs no matter where you are in the country. With AI, we can save time, increase accuracy, and ultimately make our clients happier. So let's get started. All right, so I'm sure by now you've heard of OpenAI's ChatGPT, but a lesser known language model similar to ChatGPT that we're going to be using today and that I prefer is called Bard. And it's created by Google. It's free to use. You just need a Google account. But like I said, I prefer using Bard for estimating projects because I find the answers to be formatted better. You know, the answers it returns, everything's in bullet points. In my experience, it's just a little bit more user-friendly as well. Also, I find the answers to be more precise, and that's due in part because Bard uses Google's search engine to scour the internet to provide the most accurate and relevant information. Also, when it returns an answer, at the bottom of the answer, you can click a link to see to search that specific query on Google, so you can kind of reference where Bard is getting its information from, and you can kind of fact check that way. All right, so a component of using these language models is called prompt engineering, and that's what we're going to be doing today so that we can get the most accurate price for our job. So we got to design a detailed prompt here. And a prompt in this case is basically a set of parameters and situational details like job location, difficulty of job, how experienced the installer is, and any past job data. So for this example, we're going to be generating the labor cost of mounting a 55-inch TV to the wall. And we'll say that the job is located about 30 minutes north of Chicago. We'll say that the installer is experienced and that the job itself is of medium difficulty. So I'm just going to enter those details. All right, and so this is what Bard came back with. It says, the labor cost of mounting a 55-inch TV to a wall in Chicago, Illinois typically ranges from $60 to $200. Then it gives you some generalized information like the exact cost will depend on the experience of the installer, the difficulty of the job, and the type of mount used. And we included that information, so this is where it gets pretty specific. It says, in your case, the job is located 30 minutes north of Chicago, so the labor cost will be slightly higher than average. I'm guessing it assumes that as you get closer to the city, the prices will increase. So if you're around like a 30-minute radius of Chicago, it makes sense that the cost will be a little bit higher versus say an hour or 2 hours north. And then it kind of reiterates your the information that you provided. And then it further says, based on these factors, I would estimate the labor cost of mounting your 55-inch TV to be around $120. I would say that's pretty accurate, about $120. Say that takes you about an hour and a half or so. That's some pretty good money you're making per hour. And as you can see, as I mentioned before, the formatting here of the answer is pretty neat. And then it gives you some further details that might affect the labor cost as well, like if you're mounting it on brick or concrete, the type of mount that'll be used, and then like kind of the availability of service providers in your area. It's pretty precise. It gives a well-rounded answer. And I would say that $120 is a pretty reliable estimate for this. Now, you want to use this as a supplement, and you want to kind of have a basic understanding of course, of what your target hourly rate is and compare this number to it. But kind of in a pinch or for jobs that you're not too familiar with, I would definitely turn to Bard and see what it spits out based upon different job circumstances. And again, the key here is to provide as much detail as you can. It may not always spit out accurate information, but the more information we can feed it, the less chance we have of that happening. So that's something to note too, and kind of design your prompts really well. Give as much situational details about the project as you can, so that it can analyze all this data. And don't forget to include the region that you're in so that it can factor in those regional differences in price as well. And then if we scroll down a little further here, you can see, as I mentioned, you can Google this, and then you can share and export this if you need to save it locally so that you have this information readily available.
By harnessing the power of AI, we can revolutionize the way we estimate jobs as handymen. And I know that for most business owners, myself included, deciding what to charge for your services is one of the hardest things to figure out. And if you can put in some criteria and have an algorithm spit out an accurate number for you, then that just conserves your decision energy so that you can use that energy for other things in your business.